One of the most frequent things that I occur in my real life or with my friends is breakups. So romantic breakups or turn downs or letdowns or heartbreaks or whatever it has to do with whatever relationship they're in. And like there's a few things that like I catch myself saying pretty much every time. One thing that has changed significantly for me or for the way that I see romantic relationships is I see life on a grander scale. So like all of your life is about you finding happiness. So your life's purpose, it's not a purpose, but purpose is to be happy. And we grow up in situations, and as children we don't yet know how to deal with things. So we drag on all our worries from the past. So these worries from our past, we pretend like they're not there. We pretend like we're over them. We pretend like they don't really exist. But we find them very quickly in our choice in romantic partners. So quite commonly, it seems, we choose people that are the worst possible person for us, where I have to qualify that again, like in theory or like in world or superficial society. So in the world as we know it, we pick bad relationships. So the people that are bad for us, that treat us just like our parents did, that are just as demeaning or disrespectful or cheating or whatever. We pick the bad relationship, but I don't see it like that, because I think that our subconscious is trying to tell us something. So by picking the bad person, our subconscious is telling us, hey, there's something that you're hiding, that you're not willing to admit in your waking day, you're not willing to admit. But if you go into this relationship, it is going to force it out of you. It's going to push you to the brink. It's going to make whatever was bad even worse. And this is a good thing. And this is a good thing for you. It doesn't feel good at the time. It feels horrible when you're broken up. It's horrible to have heartache. It's horrible to have all your hopes and dreams dashed. It's the worst feeling at that moment. In this moment. It's only momentarily. It's only right now. It's only, like, if you look at the long span, hopefully you live longer than I will. Let's say you live for 80 years. Then that heartbreak would have been like, what, maximum, like, it's like a drop in the ocean. It's a very small time. And as soon as we see our relationships not as we lost, we were faulted, we were cheated on, we don't take it personally. We don't take it as something the ego needs to drag on or something that will affect our future relationships. If we just look at what is and go like, oh, what does this remind me of? We'll probably get to the bottom of why we chose this bad partner. I've already mentioned before that the idea of monogamy is dead to me. So it doesn't exist. It's just an idea. Like, if people can live together in a monogamous relationship, I'm happy for them. But to me, it's just an idea. And the idea of finding someone for the rest of your life and living with them seems very oppressive to me. I don't really see relationships as something that you need to find, that is essential for life. This philosophy, if you're allowed to say that, what Krishnamurti is talking about is you being a light to yourself, you being all one, you accepting yourself for who you actually are. And this is what I'm talking about as well. So the relationships are not what are going to make us find out who we are within the relationship as much. Like, through the conflicts, yes, but it's more the loss of the relationship, the loss of faith, the loss of whatever happens, whatever drama went down. That is the thing that you're learning from, the thing that's hurting you, the thing that's painful right now. I'm smiling because I can see like you need to go through this pain. Truth is ugly, truth is harsh, truth is, direct and like there's nothing else you can do but just straight up look at it and accept it for what it is. The more you hope and dream and what if and should have done this and maybe this will work, and the more you think about that, the more energy is wasted. You've already learnt your lesson. You can look at what is, and even if you love this person dearly and they just left you, like, it's like, obviously this has happened to me as well, like everything I'm talking about has happened to me as well, like like, and you dearly love them and you don't know how to make them understand, like, hey, I think that we should be in a relationship, but they're not interested. What are you gonna do about it? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I see relationships as like, it's more like, this is how we're learning about ourselves. It's the easiest way to learn about ourselves. We need to be vulnerable, we need to be intimate, we need to strip ourselves from these facades, the boundaries, and we need to, it's like pushing ourselves, we push ourselves outside of our own comfort zone, and this is what it's about. It's not about staying together forever. Life is about nothing. Life is about nothingness. So if your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or partner, whoever, has just broken up with you and it feels like your world just ended, then that is exactly the lesson you have to learn, because you were too attached to this person. You are all one. You are whole. You are all you need. You don't need this other person. And the more attached you were, the more the heartache. And the more attached you were, the more you're going to learn. Because life is about you. And it's born alone, die alone. It's like we think, or Hollywood stories are trying to tell us that we're supposed to find our soulmate and whatever. But in the end, we die alone. It doesn't make any difference. So I love falling in love. I love romantic relationships. I'm not trying to, it's the contrary. Like, I feel like we should embrace as many opportunities as we can to be vulnerable with someone, so that we can find out what we need to learn about ourselves. Because, we're learning about the other person, but basically if the other person is doing something that pisses me off, it's my fault, not their fault. It's my overreaction. It's me that's responding to this. It's me that has some sort of issue. For me in relationships, I was scared of being abandoned. I was scared of not being loved. I was scared of not being liked, and there was so many things. I was very attached as well to, I was afraid to go places by myself and all kinds of things. So all you need to, I know I'm sorry, I wish I could hug you right now if you're feeling this heartache. I wish there was something I could do that would be a little bit, I don't know, easier, or I don't know, how should, some sort of mantra or meditation and this will solve all your problems. It's the harsh reality. It is what it is. And as soon as you see romantic relationships as, oh, we're just playing around trying to, I'm not saying I don't love these people, I just mean it's not a fixed thing that's supposed to last forever. It's supposed to be a learning opportunity. You meet someone, you learn something about them, learn something about yourself, and then when it doesn't work anymore, don't cling on to the relationship. Don't cling on to the idea of being together. Don't cling on, because most of the people, when they know something's wrong, they can feel it. They know. They're starting to feel nervous, and they sort of know. But the idea of the relationship keeps them going. So this is sort of what I'm trying to talk about. Another very important thing, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, when I broke up with my ex, I felt like an idiot, first of all. Like, I felt like I've been duped, I've been lied to, I've been cheated for 12 years. So when I realized this, I was just about to start going going back in my history and thinking about all the things I had done for him, and like, how could he do this? I did this and this and this. But how could he do this? I did this and this and this. And this is exactly the downhill spiral that would have probably ended me, I reckon. If I honestly look at all the things that I did and then how I got treated in return, it's pretty heartbreaking. But I don't have to do that anymore. Luckily, very, very soon, I was skateboarding as usual, and I noticed myself just reminding myself of how stupid I was. And as I'm skateboarding, I'm not trying to think about my relationship. He wasn't anywhere to be seen. Nobody else in this park knew about what was going on. So I just went in my mind, it just, I'd already been quite aware of the present moment. So I wanted to make sure that I'm in the present moment. And as soon as I'm thinking about the relationship, I'm not in the present moment. So then I just looked at it and I went, by God, this bastard has taken so much from you. Like, he's taken money, love, time. He's taken so much from you. It's bad enough as it is. Why the hell would you give him another second of your time in your mind? And as soon as I realized this, as soon as I went, because I was quite horrified of what happened, and I was afraid of him, so him being in my mind was scary to me. He was threatening my life at the time, so I didn't want any reminder of him at that time. And as soon as I realized this, it worked so well, because I went I got slighted, I got duped, I got cheated, everything went wrong. But me beating myself up about it in my head is making it so much worse. And that would have made, if old me would have had to deal with that, I wouldn't be alive. I would have committed suicide. There were so many things and mistakes. And one thing that always bothers me is when I can remember situations where I sort of had a feeling this is this and this, but I chose to believe him. And these were the situations that haunted me. So they kept popping up in my head. And I just went I knew better. I knew, but I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe in our relationship. I wanted to believe in a happy ending. I wanted to believe that we can have kids and have a family and a house and, be joyous and happy. But obviously, that belief, that was the problem that kept me in the relationship for way too long. But luckily, Krishnamurti helped me more or less straight away afterwards. So I needed it as well. So just to conclude, the best thing you can do to yourself, especially if you were abused or beaten or robbed or cheated on, the worse the breakup, the more you want to think about it, really, because you're trying to defend your own ego. But the truth is, it's got nothing to do with you. No normal human being acts that way. No normal human being that says they love you acts this way. It's not your fault. It wasn't you. It was never you. It's them. And they're going to blame it on you, but it wasn't you. The kindest thing you can do for yourself in your life is accept what happened. So you just look at it and go okay, blah, 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 stole all my money and left. And then you look at it and go am I okay with that? Can I live with myself with that? It's It's that big of a deal. And then as soon as you accept it, you can see the plus sides, you can see the benefits. So, there's always a benefit. And the kindest thing you can do is just accept it and no longer give them another second of your time. I know it's hard. I know, like, sometimes you're trying to grasp the situation, but the truth is you already have all the information. All the other work you're doing is guessing, rationalizing, imagining, whatever. Like, it doesn't actually help. You need to give your brain a rest. Let your brain just relax and settle back into your new situation. Change is never, like, people are very afraid of change. People hate change. People want everything to stay at the status quo. And I always laugh and I go, like, I'm sorry for smiling because, like, I know you're going through hell right now and you want to cry. But I'm smiling because this change is always the perfect mulch, the perfect earth, the perfect ground for new growth. And at this moment, it doesn't seem like this at all. You need a few months, a few weeks. And in a few weeks, you're going to go like, thank God I broke up with blah, blah, blah. Oh, thank God they cheated on me. Oh, thank God that person's out of my life. Right now, I'm sorry, it doesn't feel like that. But in a few months, and, it's about your life. You're an independent human being. You are strong and you will be able to live your life by yourself. This is what it's about, independence and a free mind. So, sorry you got treated like shit. If that's the case, I'm sure you didn't deserve it. And if you got treated like shit, just make sure you don't let them continue treating you like shit in your head. Because just imagining the situations where they treated you like shit is negative. It's negativity, it's work, it's energy loss in the wrong direction. So, all you need is love for yourself. Like, if you understand Krishnamurti, you'll understand what it means to truly love yourself. Accept yourself for who you actually are, not who your ego thinks he is, he, she, whatever it is. As soon as you accept yourself for who you are and you can truly love yourself, and that's the most important thing. The other relationships are only like bouncing boards so that you can find yourself. So it's not, like, as soon as you don't see relationships as something that's going to last forever, like, excuse me for all the people that have made that last forever, but as soon as you have a little bit more freedom, and then you can learn about yourself and have a lot of fun along the way as well. Thank you very much for listening. One love.